here we are at our next unit, and this is a geometry-based unit. Before we can get into the new content, we need to review our old content and understand the terminology. So let's go over the parts of an angle. When we have an angle is formed by two rays. So you can see this here in purple. There's two rays that come together with a common endpoint. That common endpoint is called the vertex. So where you see that little circle, that's the vertex. Okay. The rays are called the sides. So this is a side of your angle, and this is the other side of the angle. It's very important that we properly name these angles so we can identify the angle we're talking about. When we write an angle, the symbol we use is it's not an inequality, it kind of looks like one. Okay? Or you can see it written like this. Some teachers will put the little line over it so that you know it's the difference between an angle and an inequality. So when we actually go to name something, typically we use 3 letters. Okay? The middle letter must always be the vertex. So we can just say the vertex, or we could say the 3 full letters, okay? But you can only use the vertex if it's the only angle there. Like looking at this angle, I could call this angle ABC. I could call it CBA. I can also call it angle B, and I can do that because there's no other angle around, okay? So angles have measures. They're not equal to a specific number, it's their measure. So when we refer to the measure of an angle, we use a lowercase m. That means measure. So for example, look at this angle. Okay, this would be, you could say angle ABC, angle CBA, or angle B. And we would say the measure of angle ABC is 90 degrees. How did I know it was 90 degrees? Okay, and notice really quick before I move on, there's that little circle. You must write that. That's the degree symbol. Here's how I knew it was 90. We have types of angles. We have an acute angle. That's when it's greater than 0 but less than 90, and it could look any one of these ways. It could look different too, but it would not be a perfect L shape. That's where the right angle comes in. It measures exactly 90 degrees. You'll normally see that little square on the inside of it, but it's a perfect L. Then we have an obtuse angle, which is greater than 90, but less than 180. And finally, we have a straight angle. It's just a solid straight line, and that measures exactly 180 degrees. So let's go do some identifying in an angle. What is the vertex of this angle? Angle K. Okay. What are the sides of the angle? You could say KL, KJ. We always name from the endpoint, and the endpoint of each ray is K. So the 3 ways that I could name the angle would be LKJ, JKL, or angle K. Remember, the vertex has to be in the center, always. By looking at this, my one side is a little bit stretched more than L, so this would be obtuse. Okay, now I want you to try this one, and then we'll go over it. So pause the video now and try and answer these on your own. Okay, the vertex, oops. Actually, you know what? Let me change my mind. Answer these. I'm going to check to see if you were right. Okay, the measure of angle A is 12x minus 5. If x is 9, what is the measure of angle A? And classify it. How could I do that? Well, they tell me the value of x. So I would write my angle. I'd plug in 9. 12 times 9 is 108. Minus 5 is 103. Therefore, the measure of angle A is 103 degrees, which makes it obtuse. Okay? That right there that you see boxed in purple, that's the answer you would need to write on an assessment to a question like this. So this one's a little bit more, but it's not that challenging. It says the measure of angle C is 19x minus 3, and the measure of angle D is 8x plus 10. If the sum of the measures of the angles is 115, find the measure of each angle. Well, look what it told us. It told us that 9x minus 3 and 8x plus 10, that their sum means to add, okay? It says the sum is 115. So I know it equals 115. Here's C plus D. This comes where I said solving equations are super important because you're going to have to do that now. So first I combine like terms and get 27x, and then negative 3 and 10 gives me 7. I do my inverse operations and get 27x equals 108. Divide by 27 on both sides so that x equals 4. Did I answer the question though? I did all that work. Go back. The question says find the measure of each angle, not x. So that means I have to plug x back into 19x minus 3. And then I have to plug x into 8x plus 10. So my angles would be 73 and 42. There are other questions on this page that you need to finish. Load your notes when you're done. But if you don't understand anything, don't hesitate to ask. And remember, I'm going to be looking for the problems that I told you to try on your own.